Welcome everyone back. We are playing here it's the first semi-final in this Swiss Magic Masters Modern trial. On the left side, well, we have a human mirror here that we see on the left side, Dario Waber that we see also before winning against Chris, and on the right side is Pablo Rossi, who also is in the top 4. So we are setting up everything so that you can be prepared, and then we can start with this amazing match, with this amazing mirror match between both players, both 5-color human. So I'm very interested to see. There are some differences in the sideboard as well, and maybe we can also talk about that after that we saw the first game. So there is Pablo Rossi with the 7 hands and 7 hands for Dario on the left side. So well, it's very interesting to see. It could be a very quick game, but it can also be a big or a large board stall. And this is an open-end ancient cigarette with champion of the parish for Pablo Rossi and Secret Coast, and also champion of the parish for Dario on the left side. So pause the turn 2, another ancient cigarette that we see, and there is, wow, the box topper again in the hand of Pablo Rossi from Noble Hierarch, which is a pretty sweet copy for that. So you can already trigger your champion of the parish and attack. Wow, there is Meddling Mage. So let's see what he wants to name, because he has to be very careful as well and rename the possible threats that could be difficult to play for Dario. Could be Thalia, but I cannot read it, sorry for that. So there's a swing for 2. 18 to 20. And there's the second turn for Dario in this way. So what a nice tournament that we have today. This trial here in Bern, in this beautiful day, of course, sitting here, playing some matching, have a good time with the friends, which is great. And there's another Meddling Mage on the side of Dario. So this really looks like a mirror match at its best. That's what we thought about that. And we're really waiting to see who will swing how many times more than the other can. Swing for 2 for Dario, no block by Pablo, and he will pass the turn. So it should be 18-18 for both. Oh, he blocks with his Meddling Mage to take out this champion of the parish. He can become a big threat in the mirror. And now who will be ahead? There's a box topper, Coward of Souls from Pablo, playing a Mantis Rider and pumping up champion of the parish, swing for 6 damage on turn 3. So the clock is real and the damage is real, and we will see if there is some more action from the side from Dario against this play. So there's thinking about this land drop. Oh, and also a Cavern of Souls. Well, not that impressive in this matchup, but at least you can get some mana for your humans. Oh, another free drop here. And a Reflecting Mage on Mantis Rider, who has to go to the hand and cannot be cast in the next turn. So more damage here to Pablo. He's on 18 life. So what's the answer from Pablo? an ancient cigarette as well, 3 copies of them already on the board, and he will bring down his noble high rock, pumping up the champion of the parish. And there's another large threat which cannot play. Yeah, Dario saw it. But he will also play 2-drop. Ooh, which is the kite save rebooter. Looking in the hand, well, it's not, maybe it's not that impressive against the human deck with basically not that many non-creature cards, but I mean, it's also good to know the hand of the opponent and to see, oh, how can I navigate my big champion of the parish versus this hand from my opponent. So swing in from champion and with exalted trigger as a 6/6. It's already a lot of damage that we can play. And in the next turn, they will, of course, or maybe coming down again, the Mantis Rider on this battlefield. So both players with many cards in hand, 2 for Pablo and I guess 4 or 5 for Dario. So there could be some options to deal with this champion of the parish, and maybe also copy with Phantasmal Image to reflect the mage. Could this be an idea? He does, and he bounces back the big champion of the parish in the hand of Pablo, and he's ready for swing in with both of his creature. Maybe he does, or maybe not. Let's see. But this is some sort of race where it's always very important to be in ahead from your opponent and can close the game as quickly as possible. So swing in for 4. Pablo going down to 14. So both players are very well known here in Bern. Both players very nice players, very good players as well. We often see them in the Bern Modern League. There is a kite save freebooter for Dario. Looking at the hand, of course, there's the champion. There is, of course, the Mantis Rider and another card I cannot see because they are so shiny. Maybe these are the new sleeves, but we will see afterwards, of course. Oh, this could be a Raven Inspector, maybe, for Pablo here. This would be a huge threat, and here comes the Mantis, I guess. Bam! Mantis Rider, the lightning bolt in form of a creature. And attack for 4 in the air. Not sure if Dario really wants to jump block with his kite sail, or maybe block the freebooter. So there would be just the 3 damage from the Mantis Rider. But the Mantis Rider, this is the thing with this card, is if you cannot handle it, it's just a lightning bolt every turn. And he can also block creature as well because of his vigilance ability. Such a great card, such a great addition coming from Khans of Tarkir, one of the most beloved draft sets that we had in recent years. And he took the damage, untap phase and draw. Let's see if there is some more action coming from Dario on the left side to this Mantis Rider. So this is the semi-final. They don't have time pressure. They can really carefully check their place. They can look if does it make sense. And there will be for 2 mana a Thraben Inspector, which he cannot play because he named them Thraben Inspector with his own meddling mage. This is some sort of downside in the mirror match of this card. You can name a threat from the opponent, but it's also very hard because it can also hit your. There's the land drop, there is the Horizon Canopy that immediately goes his way to the graveyard, or does it? No. Yes, he does, and it draws a card for that. There's a swing. Haha, he really wants his meddling mage down, hoping that Pablo blocks with his Mantis Rider and then could play the Freeman Inspector, but Pablo is not blocking. He's taking the 2 damage from the meddling mage, and there's another play. This is the Noble Hierarch for Dario. So there's another swing from Pablo in the air with the Kite Safe Rebooter. That will be blocked by Kite Safe Rebooter from Dario as well.
Yeah, I'm back.
Champion of the parish. Hi, Adrian.
What did I miss?
Oh, you missed some very good interactive play. You missed.
Yeah,
It was very interesting. Reflect the Mage did his job against the champion of the parish from Pablo,
okay.
and Pablo fired off his Mantis Rider in the air that will hit every turn for 3 damage. Dario has a Fraven Inspector in hand, but with his Meddler Mage, he named the Fraven Inspector, and this is game. Game for Pablo Rossi. And there is the sideboard options that we will have a look at. So we have in Pablo's hands 3 Deputy of Detention, 2 Dismember, 2 Sin Collector, 2 Auric Champion, 2 Damping Sphere, 2 Chalice of the Void, and 2 Militia Bugler.
It's a bit different. For Dario, he has 3 Auric champions that we didn't see before. Maybe 2 Deputy of Detention and 2 Dismember that he maybe would like to bring in. And then he has 1 Wailer Rogue. Do you remember what this card does? I'm not familiar with
The
it.
Verdant Rogue, I guess, is from Ether Revolt or from Kaladesh, so it's entering with some Thopters.
I'm not sure.
Could make a huge swing.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess also from the side of Pablo, Deputy of Detention, of course, is a nice card. Dismember, I guess, should be there, and maybe Militia Bugler to get more power on the board as quick as possible.
Yeah, Wielder Rogue creates 2 colorless Topters when it comes into play, and if you tap 2 artifacts, target creature can be blocked this turn. I think this will come in because it's 3 bodies for 4 mana. That's good if you want to do jump block, or if you want to go to the air with the Topters, you can as well. But for me, the key players in the sideboard are the Auric champions on both sides of this matchup. It's a huge swing in the human's mirror if you can stick an Auric champion, gain some life each time a creature enters the battlefield.
And I guess also the Dismember, which does a very nice job against opposite threats.
Yes, of course, Dismember. And then we might see Deputy of Detention.
I think Deputy of Detention it's a good card, so maybe you can exile. Well, there are not that many removals. It's just Reflect the Mage, and you can exile some large champion of the parish.
Exactly, resets them basically, because when they come back, they don't have the counters.
It can give you some turn.
And really, Deputy of Detention is nicely worded for this match, because it's really exile a permanent of an opponent's controls, and all other permanents that player controls with the same name. So if you exile a meddling mage, for example, and you have a meddling mage on your side, it doesn't exile it. So yeah, that will probably come in.
Yeah, I also think so. It should be a good card. Well, it's a really aggressive matchup. It's very aggro, so both players came out very well. Both players had the turn 1 champion of the parish, they had a turn 2 meddling mage, so they're really doing a lot of stuff here in this match, which is creature fighting against creature, and no real combo potential. But this is what such a deck does. It comes in, makes the threats bigger, and then you can hit with your 10-10 champion of the parish, or maybe fire off some of the threats in the air.
Yeah, in this matchup, you really want as many champions of the parish as possible, as many Talia's lieutenant as possible, some reflector mage to mess up with your opponent's game plan, and that's it. You want bigger creatures to be able to swing. And if it comes to settlements between the two players, then you need either some removal or some flying mantis riders or some or the rider rogue, for example, that we just saw, to be able to come through the wall of the opponent.
What do you think about Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, in this mirror match?
Um, the first strike is nice, but the rest of the text is mostly irrelevant. I think you wanna side out the kite sail freebooter for sure, and then maybe one or two Talia or meddling mage, who's also not the best in this matchup. I think it really comes down to personal choice and preference. So a mulligan from Dario. That's bad.
And Pablo's keeping his hand.
It already looks quite good for Pablo, even if he's on the draw. Dario having a mulligan is quite good for him.
So he really needs to find a hand that's quick enough, that gives him some time also to survive. Maybe if Pablo has like a storm of creatures entering the battlefield.
Yeah,
So I think it really depends on the card advantages as well in this matchup.
yes, of course, but I think especially post board when you have a bit more interaction, it's really about getting bigger and than the opponent and not faster. You don't want to be fast, you want to be big, and if you're big, you can win.
So let's see, there's the shuffle. And let's see if he has more luck with his 6 cards.
I never played the mirror match between the two humans players. I'm not sure if you want to side out the Eiter Veil, but
No.
but apparently no.
Dario
Apparently,
doesn't.
apparently no.
Well, it can also give you the very, very speed plan with Evil. It can also give you the
Yes,
combo tricks with Evil.
yes, that's
I mean,
those
I
are the
think it's very
upsides.
okay to play.
Talis Lieutenant
And there is
and
already.
the champion should be. They're both 2-2. That's exactly.
Yeah, okay.
He ordered.
Well, you
He
should
let
play
it.
the other first and then.
No. That's good. He has two 2-2s like that. Otherwise, he would have 1-3-3 and a 1-1. He
Oh,
chose
I
to have
see.
two 2-2s. So
And
Mantis
there's the
Rider
Firebolt.
attacking for 4. And now we need to see something quite big from Dario.
Horizon Canopy for Dario.
For 3, taking 1 to 15. Hopefully a Reflector Mage, bouncing the Mantis Rider.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
amazing. Then he has 2/3/3s.
Now he has enough power to swing in for this next
Oh,
turn.
and he kept Kitesail Freebooter. I'm quite surprised about that. I don't think this card is really good in this matchup, but maybe I'm wrong. So yeah, 2 4/4s for Dario, and as told before, you just want to be bigger, and right now he's bigger. He's a bit faster. Um,
How relevant is keeping in the freebooter in a mirror match? I mean, it's obvious that the other one doesn't have any other spells than creatures in this matchup. Well, maybe you can also have a large freebooter triggered by Folly Inspector, Raven Inspector. Well, what do you think about keeping in Kitesail freebooter?
uh, it depends. I think that the choice is between Freebooter and Talia, Guardian of Traben. Either you either want the first strike or the flying. I would say first strike is better, but maybe I'm wrong. As Still, I haven't played a matchup that often. But yeah, now Reflector Mage from Pablo's side. But Dario still has the biggest creature, and now the flying is quite relevant because he can
Until next
just
turn
attack in
with
the air.
hitting down again the Mantis Rider from the side of Pablo, yeah. So both board look quite interesting. So there's like Pablo can do some more stuff in the next turns, but at the moment it's just one creature untapped that could block something from Dario. And Dario had to go down the mulligan from 7 to 6 cards. He comes out so quick.
Yeah, he has the biggest threats, and that's
Wow.
that's really nice. Being able to copy the Talos Lieutenant. It's gonna make the even more damage.
That's a lot of damage here.
11 damage, so Pablo goes to 1. Probably, if I counted right.
So this is what we talked about, Evil combat tricks. And untap for Pablo. Maybe he'll find
yeah.
some answer.
Pablo should be at 1. He needs 4 blockers to be able to survive. Or a Reflector Mage to bounce something. Let's see if he can find that. But you can really see the dynamic. Bigger is better right now, and just
Actually, you're definitely right with this. Oh, and there's coming down also Fraven Inspector on the side of Pablo. And now he also has a large board, and he come in the air for 5 damage with the Exalted Trigger.
He forgot to put a +1/+1 counter on his Noble Hierarch. But I think it doesn't matter because, yeah, Dario can just attack and deal the final point of damage.
There is gain for Dario. Wow, and this after a mulligan to 6, coming out so smoothly with this curve, with the help of Evil. Wow. So both players shuffle up. They are on 1-1. And let's see who will make it to the final.
Yeah, here you could see the tempo boost from Vial just being too much, combined with the power boost from Talia's Lieutenant. Talia's Lieutenant is really the key card in the matchup. You want as many of them as possible to grow your army larger than one of your opponents.
Yeah, it's definitely what you said. You have to be big. And how do you become big? I mean, Fraven Inspector is just the way to go. Then against your opponent, where you can make your champion of the peerage like a huge threat, or also your creatures in the air, for example, such as Kite Freebooter or Mantis Rider. They can hit for a lot of damage with the help of Fraven Inspector.
Yeah, it's quite funny also, just on a general note, to see 2 humans player in the semifinals. Especially nowadays, humans play more and more the human that exiles cards from the graveyard, the Anafenza, but to fight Phoenix. But neither of our 2 players plays Anafenza, so they probably managed to defeat Phoenix without this card, and that's
yeah, it's very interesting. Maybe they drew also a lot of Kitesail freebooters that can help taking out the best threat from the Phoenix deck. Just winning one turn with that. Or maybe they didn't have to play that many times against the Arclight Phoenix deck.
Yeah, maybe. And I think they also profit from the fact that people tend to forget about humans. Everybody says, "Oh, Phoenix is so good and Dredge is so good. I need Graveyard Hate and so on." And then you put some Graveyard Hate in your main deck. For example, control decks to play now either Surgical Extraction or the Nihil Spell Bomb. And if you draw them against human, they're useless, and so that's one less card, and then the human deck can profit from it and win.
I was a little
So
bit
yeah,
surprised about that. I mean, I thought to see more dredge action, more Tron action. We didn't see any
mm,
dredge or Tron here in the feature match area today.
yeah, I've
So,
seen a couple of them in the room, but
okay.
maybe not so much on the top tables. So
Again, mulligan for Dario.
while Pablo keeps 7, I saw a couple of lands, a noble hierarch, so already a good start. Uh, Hopefully many Talius lieutenants. That's what he wants to see. Yeah, Parkshot in the chat saying that Freebooter does more than most sideboard cards, and yeah, I agree. Um it's better than a lot of tools because as humans gets less popular, they also have fewer cards for the mirror match in the sideboard, so they have less to bring in.
Mm.
And that's what we can see here from our two players.
But the last game was really a nice, good game to see how relevant the Thalia's Lieutenant is in this feature, in this mirror match. It really
Yes,
can hit in. It can also be a very sweet combat trick in combination with Eva Vial, and this can make your threats larger than these of your opponent. So
so
scrying down.
keep from Dario, scry to bottom, and now Noble Hierarch on the first turn for Pablo. That's,
Champion of the Parish for Dario.
so for now, Pablo has more speed and Dario has the bigger threats because champion will usually get quite huge.
Some more kite sail freebooter action here for Pablo. Oh, and there is a dismember. Now he finds it. And there's just one land. There's no land in hand for Dario. He just has one land on the battlefield. That is the Horizon Canopy, which makes it hard. If he doesn't find another land, if he doesn't find another one drop in the next turn, this could be very difficult for him to play against this coming out from Pablo Rossi. There's no land in hand for Dario. And swing with a 1-2. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, Pablo now was thinking about either I attack with the Noble Hierarch or I keep this member up. And maybe he wants to keep this member to be able to remove the champion of the parish or the possible Talius lieutenant coming from Dario.
Oh, there is no
Oh,
land for Dario.
no second land. That's painful. I think it's
really painful if that happens in the semi-final of such a large tournament with 60 players.
yeah, that's a big tempo loss. Oh,
And reflect the mage.
it's
2
getting
damage in the
bounced.
air.
But we could see in Dario's hand he has a couple of phantasmal images, and if he can play them right now, he can copy the Reflector Mage to bounce something on Pablo's side, but no, he doesn't have it.
Ooh.
And I think this is slowly growing to an unsurmountable advantage for Pablo.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's sad to have the third game being decided by Mana Screw, but yeah, it happens from time to time.
And here are 3 damage coming from Pablo to the side of Dario.
3 damage going to 14.
There's the crack. Horizon Canopy. And he found nothing to play now here, Dario. Did he find his land?
Probably that doesn't look like a land. Fine. Yeah, I think it's too little too late for that.
It's very slow against this large board. Champion of the parish from the top for Pablo. And wow, here it is. Deputy of Detention taking out the SMM from Dario. And the full swing, of course.
Yes, Dario at 10 right now. Taking damage from his lands, taking damage from Pablo, and still no land on top.
Champion of the parish. And as we know, there is still the dismember in hand of Pablo Rossi. So this could be game.
Yeah, champion will be on jump blocking the duty very fast. But Pablo still has to be careful because if he plays, for example, here we see a Phantasmal Image copying his own Deputy of Detention, and then Dario top decks a second land and plays Phantasmal Image, copying the Deputy of Detention. That can be a bigger swing in the other direction. But yeah, Mantis tried to put more pressure.
Here comes Lightning Bolt in form of a creature in the air.
It's strange that Pablo doesn't attack with Deputy of Detention. I mean, there's no risk.
Yeah, definitely. And
yeah, that's
this
game.
is match.
That was too much for
So Pablo Rossi wins over Dario Waber in the semi-final, and he moves on to the final of this Swiss Magic Masters Modern Trial that we are
Congratulations to him.
Congratulations to Pablo Rossi and also to Dario for being in the semi-final and having also a nice prize that he can take home from this event today.